Hi, I'm Brickroad, and welcome to Let's Play AM2R, Return of Samus. This is the remake of Metroid 2, Return of Samus, a Game Boy game that wasn't very good from way back in the day, and I would love to share a download link for this game for you, but unfortunately Nintendo brought the hammer down pretty hard on it, which I think was kind of rude of them, but nobody asked me. So I'm absolutely not allowed to tell you to just go to Google search and type in AM2R download. If you were to do that, I might get into trouble, so please don't do that. Anyway, it's pouring down rain, and my last 3 attempts to record a Let's Play series all went up in flames, like literally, like I'm now recording this in the smoldering wreckage of what once was my life. The goal is to get 100% of the items in under 2 hours, which this save file here has done. This is the final save in the game at 148. It takes about 6 or 7 minutes for me to get from that point through the end of the credits, and so yeah, I've done it twice now. One was 155, one was 156 and change. It's a really tight time limit, really tight. Much tighter than getting the best ending in Super Metroid or Zero Mission with 100% items. And I've never gotten 100% items in Fusion, I don't think, because that game is terrible. Let's get started here. Let's just jump in there. So I'm going to apologize right out of the gate if my commentary for this game is not up to par, and I don't even know what par commentary means in this context, honestly. I'm not sure that I could tell you. But AM2R, like I said, is a fan-made game. It's a wonderful game if you haven't experienced it. It's absolutely gorgeous game. It plays really well. There's some quality of life stuff that they put in this game that wasn't in previous Metroid titles. The major one being, it has a dedicated Morph Ball button. Instead of having to double tap down like some kind of schmo in order to use the Morph Ball, I just hit my right trigger and boom, we're in. And it's actually faster to unmorph using that trigger than it is to tap up. And that's one of the main problems that I have in this game, is remembering to tap R instead of double tap up, because I've got that 20 years of muscle memory from Super Metroid telling me that if I'm in, like, morphed in a jump and I want to be unmorphed or whatever, I need to tap up to break the morph. And that's lava. I don't want to be there. I got a lot of the speed that I've earned at this game in my quest to cut that 2-hour mark in preparation for the Let's Play series has been doing that Morph Ball button more efficiently. Morph Ball is also a little bit faster than just walking, so even after I get the speed booster, there are some rooms that I'll just Morph Ball through, just because it's a little bit faster. And that little bit, in many, many rooms over the game, eventually adds up. You also start this game with the Morph Ball and a lot of missiles. I did always like that about Metroid 2, even though I'm not a fan of Metroid 2, I don't think it's that terrific of a game. I do think it was a necessary game, because Super Metroid didn't happen in a vacuum. Super Metroid happened because it built on everything that came before it. Like, the original Metroid gave us the idea of a platform game that had a fully explorable world, like a non-linear world where your items and your equipment dictated where you could go rather than just like a level select or something. And then Metroid 2 took that formula and refined it. So it added back in some linearity. Metroid 2 is one of the more linear Metroid games, all things considered. But what it gained was Samus's range of action increased a lot. She could duck now, which she couldn't do in Metroid, which means she could shoot monsters more easily. She got things like the spider ball and the space jump, which increased her mobility, which increased what the level designers could do with the levels. They added in a bunch of different beam types, which increased the player's kind of agency and options and what weapons to use. So, even though I don't like Metroid 2 as a game, I still have to appreciate what it did for this series that I used to love. And so what I love about this remake is that it took all of the good things from Metroid 2 and put it into maybe the best 2D Metroid package since Super Metroid. I do think this game is better than Zero Mission. I definitely think it's better than Fusion. And I don't say that lightly. Those are, well, Fusion, I'll say lightly. There's lots of games that are better than Fusion that are terrible. Pretty much every terrible game is better than Fusion. But the amount of quality on display for this game, I think, is astounding. Like, I know a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people play this game, they're like, oh, you know what, it's good for a remake. And I think that's really, I need to go down here, what am I doing? I think it's really undercutting the game. I don't think this game is just good as a remake. I think if Nintendo released this game for $30 on one of their download services, they would have made millions. It would have been the best-selling Metroid game in a very long time. But that's not what Nintendo did. Instead, Nintendo got really angry at the people who made the fan game, and under the guise of protecting their copyright or some such rubbish. Yeah. I don't think this game interferes with sales of Metroid 2 on the download service, and I kind of do want to touch on this topic a little bit during the Let's Play, so we might as well do it now during the part of the game where things are pretty easy and I'm not going to have to concentrate much on playing. Like, I understand that Nintendo is in their legal rights to protect their IP and whatnot. I get it. You know, they're a company, they're in it to make money, they're not in it to... Wait a minute, I go this way. They're not in it to be nice to people, you know. It's fine, but here's my question. Why not be nice to people? Why not embrace the fan games, you know? It's not like it's going to hurt their bottom line. Other companies do it successfully. Capcom and especially Sega right now with their new Sonic game. They actually hired the fan game makers. And the community is more excited for this new Sonic game being made by the fan game guys than they have been about any mainline Sonic game in a long time. And I think Nintendo could capitalize on that if they so chose, but they do not choose to do so. They choose instead to be hostile towards their fan base. And so I know people are gonna, if I just said that sight unseen, I know I would get comments to the effect of, well, you know, Nintendo is just doing what they're legally allowed to do. But I think there's a difference between what you're legally allowed to do and, I don't want to say morally obligated, I don't really think morals enter into it, but what I think you should do. If I was a game developer, like, okay, look, let's use an example. Near and dear to my heart, good old Way Forward, who actually just released a game that I'm very excited about. I have early access to Half Genie Hero on Steam, which I have yet to play. Anyway, yeah, Way Forward loves their fans. Their Twitter feed, if they're one of the few game companies I actually follow on Twitter, because most of their Twitter feed is fan art of their characters. This is part of the game here is much faster if I bomb jump, but I don't know where to bomb jump from, so we're doing it the long, slow way. When Way Forward discovered that one of their fans had made a Let's Play series of their game, like, they didn't send him an email saying, hey, it's time for you to take down your video series of our game. Instead, they, you know, promoted the Let's Play on the blog. And that was my Let's Play. That's how I know this wonderful story about Way Forward. But I have a lot of respect and admiration for game developers who do that sort of thing with their fans, because I think video games, unlike a lot of other mediums, I think they're very different from... Those are missiles. I need beams here. They're very different from movies and books and whatnot, in that the fan base is very tech savvy and very genre savvy and very, like, willing to support basically any endeavor. We don't see a lot of Kickstarted books. Of course, books don't cost a lot as much to produce as most video games do, but I think the point still stands. If you allow them to, your fans will be very involved with your game and they'll create the community, they'll do the marketing for you. And I think with the disconnect with some, not all, but some of these big developers, Nintendo being the primary one that I'm thinking of at the moment, the disconnect is being that they're old school. Like, they're from a point in the in game development history where they didn't have to worry about that. Their marketing is taken care of for them because they're a worldwide recognized video game brand. And again, fair enough, but the times are changing, and I think those older studios are going to end up being left behind if they don't kind of grow up a little in response to their fans. Anyway, that's enough about me and why I hate Nintendo and think they're the worst company ever. Not really, but some people are going to get that impression because I've criticized them. Some people can't accept criticism of their golden child, Nintendo. This game is all about fighting Metroids, and I'm bad at fighting Metroids. Right now I'm fighting the Alpha Metroids, which are the easiest ones in the game. You can see a little Metroid counter up by my map. There's 2 more left in this area that I need to destroy. And these Metroids basically will make or break whether I get this run in under 2 hours like I want to. We'll see. Oh, I thought that was the last hit. It wasn't. Get out of there. Thank you. There are 4 kinds of Metroids. These are the Alphas. There's also Gammas, Zetas, and Omegas. I think the Gammas, which I'll call Betas, I'm sure, before this Let's Play is over. There are no Beta Metroids. But I always call the Gammas Betas. In fact, I drew a map of this game world as I was learning the game. When I play a game like this, I like to draw my own map rather than just download one because it really forces me to examine every single square of the game world. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't know what I mean. Maybe I'm crazy. But I did. I drew a map of this game, and the icon I used for the Gammas on the map was the Beta icon until I shared the image with some friends. They're like, you know they're not called Betas, right? And I'm like, ah, duh, I'm stupid. I'm stupid and my brain is in backwards. But yeah, there's no Beta Metroids, they're Gamma Metroids. We haven't seen any yet anyway. We won't until partway through the next area. Here's a boss. I've watched speedruns of this game, and how quickly they kill this boss is insane to me. I can't mash fast enough to do it. In fact, this is a really bad fight against this guy. In fact, I've pretty much eaten every hit that I can possibly eat here. This purple one's nice and easy to dodge, though. Alright, let's roll. Now we can... I'm not worried about how low I am on missiles, because I'm going to get a few more missile packs here in a minute anyway. Using one of the cooler little tricks in the game. Most Metroid games have little tricks that aren't super useful through gameplay, but usually they're useful in 1 or 2 spots, and this is one such spot that we'll see a kind of fun little trick in this game. So one of the properties of the spider ball that you may or may not know in this game is that crumble blocks don't crumble while you're spidering on them. And there's a few areas of the game where that is necessary. So I use that awesome little charge beam ability to get that vertical bomb spread to get as high as that crumble block and then spider ball up. Pretty neat, I think. This game has, let's talk about the structure of the game a little bit. There's 5 main levels. We've already done one. The Chozo Ruins are done now. Not done. There's another item we have to get there, but we can't get it yet, so. But yeah, there's 5 main areas. Ooh, that was bad. And then this big, like, hub area, which I'm going through now. And then there's a couple little side areas that aren't really part of the hub or any main area. Bomb jumping in this game is really easy, just as easy as ZM. As long as Samus is moving down in her fall, you can place the next bomb, and you'll be guaranteed to hit the previous one. There's also double bomb jumping, but it's a little harder, and I'm not as good at it. There aren't many items hidden in the hub world, but what I like about how the items are hidden in this game is there's very, very little backtracking required. There's one section at the end of the game that has a lot of backtracking, And surprise alpha! Woo! What's up? What's up, dude? And there's one item in the game that requires a lot of backtracking within a level. Oh, you know what? We're going to get that after we come out. We're going to go up the wall first. We'll get that on the way out. Okay, can I wall jump up here? I'm only going to try it twice. Nope. Okay, we're gonna spider ball it then. If I could get up there. There we go. We're going to spider ball it and just be more efficient. You really are supposed to wall jump up this wall to get up faster, but, you know. This area of AM2R, this is the hydro station, and it uses remixed music. A lot of this game, the music is all original for the game. None of it is just taken from other Metroid games, but a lot of the music is remixed from other Metroid games. This, of course, being a remix of the Green Brinstar area in Super Metroid, and one of my favorite tracks in the game. There are some tracks that I'm sure are remixed from other Metroid games, but they're Metroid games that I either haven't played or haven't played extensively, so I don't know. I need this guy to shoot at me, not ball drop at me. But it looks like he's not going to cooperate today. Alright, now we're going to bomb him. Up into those spikities! Haha, get wrecked, nerd. Oh, it's ball drop day today. Oh, I forgot to check my calendar, but yeah, you're right. It's ball drop day today. It's December whatever, and it's time for ball drop. Everyone's favorite festive winter holiday. There we go. Yeah, shoot me. Shoot me so I can pump missiles into your fat, stupid head. Unfortunately, in this game, a lot of the most efficient strategies for boss fights just involves tanking as much damage as possible. So now I have the spring ball, which means the ball form is the fastest way to just kind of maneuver through a lot of different rooms. There are actually a lot of items in this area, and speedrunners like to do this area last. I've watched 100% speedruns. They like to do this area at the end of the game rather than towards the beginning. But I like to get the items as I go, because otherwise what happens is I forget that items are left waiting for me. I was trying to get him pinned against that little floor there earlier, but it didn't work for me. Yeah, I kind of have to get the items as I go, or like I said, I'll forget that I didn't pick one up, and I'll be confused as to what's still left to get. Another cool thing about this game is basically every level in the game has fun little gimmicks like that little turbine I just went through. There's no levels in the game that are just straight up, boring. Every area of this game has something cool in it. And I mean, like, something cool for you to do, not just, like, cool graphics or like cool monsters or something. I mean, something cool for you to interact with in the game world. The first area was kind of brief. It just has like those tiny little beam puzzles. Okay, I need to get up here. Nope, not like that. Oh, thanks for hitting me right at the last second there, buddy. That was really helpful of you. I really should get the high jump before coming to this room. Then it'll be easier to get up into there, but I never learned my lesson. So, that's life. We're just down here for this one missile pack anyway. Yeah, you see I'm just taking basically a lot of hits running through monsters. It's because monsters are a little tanky in this game. It takes a lot to kill each individual monster. So it's often better to not bother. Oh, no, I do have to go down here. It's the Varia suit that I go behind the statue. Right. Come on. Jeez. Alright, life refilled. I'm good now. I'm going to get up here now. There we go. I thought the bomb block was the bottom block, but it was the top block. That's another reason I will never be a Metroid speedrunner, is I'm so bad at just remembering little, tiny details that help you save time in individual rooms. I can remember where all the items are, usually. Let's fall to the bottom of this, shaft, why not? I can usually remember where all the items are. I can remember, like, the route to go through individual rooms, or to go through multiple rooms. Can I morph, please? There we go. But as for time savings inside of individual rooms, I'm really bad at them. I would get better with practice, but I did mention that the time limit to get the best ending is 2 hours in this game, and that's pretty tight considering other Metroid games. Even the original Metroid, the timing was not quite that tight. But Super and ZM, and maybe Fusion. I don't know about Fusion. It could be that Fusion is really unforgiving as well. Ooh, I need missiles. What am I doing? But Super Metroid and Metroid ZM, you can pretty much, if you played the game once or twice and you know where the items are and stuff, you can get that best ending with 100% items, and basically no problem. It's really no issue. But in this game, you have to not only know the rooms and stuff, you have to have practiced the game quite a bit. There we go. Shoutouts to Waba Foodle for sponsoring this video, and to everybody who helps make my channel possible by supporting me on Patreon.